Hello, everybody. It's Holger Müller here, live from Las Vegas, already in my hotel room here at the Win, ready for reInvent. Already did a day of pre-things around sports activities, super interesting. Can't talk about this so much, but AWS, no question, has a lot of things to do in sports, which you all know if you watch TV. And for instance, America's favorite pastime on a Sunday. Not saying much more about it. But really, what is the thing that I will focus on, our customers are telling me to focus on? What is really the important thing of this reInvent? It's always the end of the year catch up, right? Everybody has had their meetings, their conferences, their announcements. Everybody's pretty much done. It's after Thanksgiving, and AWS comes in with a smorgasbord of innovations, new functionalities, new capabilities. And that has been the case like last 12 years, since 2012 edition, since 2012. I have the pleasure to be here since 2013. What is the key interesting aspect here this year? And that is, of course, we're in the year of generative AI. And that means that AWS has to follow up on that perspective where their key competitors, namely in the US, it's Microsoft and obviously Google, have been making progress during this year. And in the past, it was always like one of them announced something and the other guys would follow, right? The only thing where we saw kind of like a natural progression of not things being equally done right away was around the area of Outpost, where AWS was later as the market leader, which is understandable, so plausible, good for customers to keep using it like that. But the interesting thing on generative AI now is going to be if AWS will provide a large language model, which Microsoft is doing with its partnership with OpenAI, which Google is doing in-house with its BART capabilities and so on. So does it matter? It's not going to be necessarily a success factor, but it's going to be the significant diversion on the critical technology of 2023, potentially 2024, most likely 2024, which is generative AI. Why does it matter? It matters because the correct way to do generative AI these days, or AI in general, is this foundation layer cake, which starts, for all means, if you want to do large language models, with the large language model at the bottom. If you don't have that in your cloud, then you have to get creative. And there's no doubt people can be creative and other people can be creative. And there's definitely not a reason to be concerned about Amazon, AWS in any way or sense if they will not announce a large language model at this reInvent. But it's going to be a different path. And difference is good. Competition is good. We'll see the difference in that. But the things that we know is that data gravity matters, process quality matters, right? Moving data between the clouds, unfortunately, is not easy, is not cheap. And that is something which will be a cause for enterprises looking in case AWS will not announce a large language model. Why is it also not so easy for AWS or Amazon overall? Amazon has always been investing significantly into its cloud. There's no question about it. Is the leader for that because they started earlier than everybody else, has been putting up the CapEx that is necessary for that, and was financially motivated to a certain point because compared to Microsoft, compared to Google or a new entrant like Oracle, for Amazon, it's more lucrative if Jeff Bezos or now Andy Jassy has 1 billion lying around to put it into AWS because the return, the margin is so much better, right? If memory doesn't fool me, 1/3 or 2/3 of Amazon margin comes out of AWS. So it's a no-brainer. Whereas for the other guys, for Satya Nadella, for Larry Ellison, for Sundar Pichai or Thomas Kurian or White Google, the return of investment of putting stuff into the cloud infrastructure is not as high as in their core business, which is software or advertisement. So this is a big difference, and this has helped Amazon to become the market leader where they are. But now we have to look at the amount of CapEx which is being invested. Unfortunately, I can't find any numbers for Microsoft. Shame on me, but if you find them, if you see them, let me know. I can find those numbers not so clearly on the Google side, but significant because generative AI, how Satya Nadella played it late last year, was a fundamental threat to the existence of Google, which is advertising business. And then on the Oracle side, I mean, Larry Ellison and Zafra Katz, they are spending like drunken sailors on generative AI, right? Oracle used to spend like 1 billion, maybe 1.5 billion on CapEx, and they would always give me a hard time and say, it's not all about cloud, there's other stuff in there too. Well, now they're spending 50% of their free cash flow, which is roughly 15 billion. So they're spending 50%, 7.5 billion in the last 4 quarters, and that's so massive amounts. If you add this up, that's 30 billion. What is Amazon overall spending? it's 60 billion in the last quarter for CapEx. So it's significantly different sizing from that perspective, and this could create a different positioning in the cloud marketplace. So the key thing to look is, what will Amazon AWS do on the AI side? Of course, they will have a new chip that's as every year for training. They will have another for inference. They will have another one, a new one to run their Nitro instances and so on. There's no question, right? Amazon is very good at building its custom silicon. We will see how well that will be and if they will put up the CapEx for a large language model, which is not critical for their business in the sense as it's business for Microsoft, where they see a significant amount of revenue coming from using that in combination with Office, as you see in the pricing there, right? I mean, an enterprise will pay roughly a 50% surcharge on their reduced price of an Office license to make a knowledge worker or any worker work with generative AI. Right? On the Oracle side, it's just a way to gain more market share. On the Google side, again, it's an existential threat to be able to have these large language models available in order to make this work and succeed to keep the crown on the advertising side. Well, let me stop from my side. Don't want to make this too long. Let me know what you think. What is the most important thing that reInvent should be showing on the AWS side? If I miss anything, let me know. Looking forward to feedback. Don't be shy. If you see me here, say hi. This is Holger Müller from Constellation Research. Thanks for watching.